And we are back with the fifth and the final segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And again, I'm just turning right a little bit just to watch this game because I really like my USA basketball. And Jokic is really struggling tonight. But aside from that, I'm going to talk a little bit about, female basketball as Steph Curry gets stuffed by the rim, and just a little bit about some of the news that's going on in female basketball, the WNBA, because there is a lot to talk about. Well, there's a lot of things that's always to talk about in basketball right now, especially around this time. Thankfully that, women's basketball is gaining a lot more traction. And with women's basketball gaining a lot more traction, I should bring attention to, some of the other players. Now, most of the time when I talk about the WNBA, it's usually about Caitlin Clark because I am a huge fan of Caitlin Clark. And she is a phenomenal player. I think she is going to revolutionize the entire WNBA and just everything about it, especially like when she gets to play up against Juju Watkins, who is another player that I think is going to revolutionize the league. But I'm not going to be talking about her because I already talked about her previously yesterday. If you're interested in what I had to say about her and, some of her being on pace to breaking another WNBA record, you can go ahead and watch that other segment that I did yesterday. But now I'm going to focus on A'ja Wilson, who is arguably the best player in the entire WNBA. And previously, when TJ's a sports podcast show host. I recommend going and watching him. He does all sorts of sports, not just basketball. He does football, he does hockey, he does golf, he does whatever in the world he wants. And he recently, he made a comment saying that he believes that if there was any WNBA player that could be successful in the NBA, it would be A'ja Wilson. Now, her numbers in just the month of July, she averaged 27 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks on 50, 40, 90 shooting. She shot 54% from the field, 41% from 3, and 93% from the free throw line. No player in WNBA history has ever averaged 25 points per game or more on 50, 40, 90 shooting for a month. That's never happened before in the history of the WNBA. And in case you guys are wondering how this would be translated to the NBA, this is essentially 36 points per game, 16 rebounds, and 4.8 blocks if she was playing under the NBA's 48 minutes. Because the WNBA, for some reason, they play a lot way fewer minutes than NBA players play. I don't understand why, but that's just how it is. And those are the numbers if they were adjusted to 48 minutes. Those numbers are straight up Victor Wembanyama numbers that people swear that Victor Wembanyama, when he becomes a vet in the NBA, he is going to average those kind of numbers because that's realistic. Realistically, we could see Victor Wembanyama averaging 36 points. We can see him getting 16 rebounds, and we can see him getting almost 5 blocks per game because he is so ridiculously tall. And he is so ridiculously talented. That is how crazy this female is playing basketball right now. And she's arguably going to win the MVP again. She has the best odds to win back-to-back MVPs. And there's really no reason for her not to win the MVP when you're putting up those kind of numbers. Again, these numbers are just, off of the month, just off of the month of July. But aside from that, that's just ridiculous. That is crazy impressive, these kinds of numbers. It doesn't matter what kind of league you're playing in. Averaging 20 plus and then averaging 25 plus to be more exact, and then averaging 10 plus rebounds along with 4 blocks and shooting as efficiently as you are is nothing short of impressive. That is just crazy. That is crazy numbers. And another thing that, what's it called? Let me go ahead and look up the numbers. There we go. Another thing that's been going on around the WNBA, another record-breaking performance, I guess you could say, is Sabrina Ionescu. She recently scored 30 points as the Liberty beat the Sun, the Connecticut Sun. Now, she posted her 7th career 30-point, 5-rebound, 5-assist game. No, 7th, right? I did say 7th, right? That's her 7th 30-point, 5-rebound, 5-assist game. And this is That is the most in the WNBA since 2020. Like, no other player in the WNBA has ever been able to do that as many times as she's been able to do that. Now, obviously, as the league advances, I personally think that Caitlin Clark can easily do this. Like, when she becomes a vet and she becomes a, like, she gets like maybe 4, maybe even sooner than that. Maybe when she gets like 2, 3, or 5 years under her belt, she'll be able to do this. Like, way more times than Sabrina is able to do this. But I just want to bring attention to those 2 female ball players, because those females are fantastic at playing basketball. They're great options. Sabrina's arguably, like, it depends on where you rank her. She's arguably the first option on the team. Could argue she's the second option on the team. Really, it's like it's really down to just opinions at that point. But having Brenna Stewart on the team, and with her value and her impact that she brings to the team, it's really like down to preference. As Devin Booker hits a 3-pointer, the score is 76-55 right now, with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. There's a whole other quarter left to be played. Remember, these quarters, they last only 10 minutes, so the court is shorter and the court is smaller and the game is shorter than usual NBA basketball. And on top of that, there's also fewer timeouts that these teams are allowed to have. And oh wow, nice pass. But yeah, that's sort of been like what's been going on with Team USA. They've just been dominating. Majority of the bench players are out here in this game right now, and thank the Lord that Joel Embiid isn't playing, as Bam hits a 3. There you go. Fantastic basketball. They're playing some great ball right now. Like, they're moving the ball really quickly. They're making the right reads. They're making the right pass. They've really toned down with the turnovers a little bit. Like, they don't really have as many turnovers in this game as they've had previous games. It seems like, the chemistry on these players is really starting to shine. And, that's really what a lot of people wanted to see from Team USA. Just these players hooping, these players playing great basketball, things like that. And I just really want to continue talking about this game, because these guys are playing some great ball. And Jokic is still in the lineup right now, but it doesn't really seem like they're doing much, especially when Anthony Davis is blocking a lot of shots and playing the defense. And thankfully, Joel Embiid isn't in the lineup at the moment. Again, I cannot stress enough how much I dislike Joel Embiid in that lineup. It is appalling. It makes the team worse, in my opinion, and he should be removed. Plain and simple. But that's basically all that I have to talk about, like, for the WNBA and the rest of, the news that's been going on around that league. Because, again, there's been a way more record-breaking performances. Like, the league is elevating. And I know I was, supposed to make a majority of the segment about the WNBA, but this game going on is just as important. Anthony Edwards gets a steal, and he dunks the ball. Fantastic work. Score is 83-57 right now. The third quarter is just about ending. There's 1 minute left. And really, that's all I have for you on this segment. Be sure to tune in to the actual game, and I'm going to watch the fourth quarter of this game because I really want to watch it. I love basketball, in case you guys haven't been able to tell. And that's all I really have for you on this segment. So thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. As usual, please remember to use the link in the description to get your comments recognized, or the link displayed below the ticker on every show segment. That is gsmcpodcast.net. Really helps the show, makes it much more interactive between myself and you guys. That is all I have for you today on this final segment. Be sure to tune in to the game that's live right now if you really want to see USA just be, dominant and destroying the Serbian national team. But thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Nelson, and as always, take care. Be sure to tune in again at 12:30 tomorrow, where I actually give, my overall opinions on this game, because while I was talking about a lot of this game as it's happening live, there's still a whole other quarter to be played. So be sure to tune in tomorrow at 12:30, same time, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.